the Rays' way of going and that it was bad for baseball. And so when John Heyman does it, am I supposed to be surprised? He works for the New York Post.
No,
I don't. I'm not surprised at all. But the best way to combat is the Rays just need to keep winning baseball games. That's what you got to do.
Absolutely. Just win, baby. And that's what they've done so far this year. And hopefully it will sustain itself with this offense. I think they're hopefully will be able to add something. And let's just be honest. At some point, Josh Lowe has to get up here and produce at the major league level. If you're going to trade Austin Meadows and you feel like he's the guy that can help you, and that, we never said that Josh, maybe some did, but Josh was going to, replace 106 RBIs. That's not what we were saying, but it was as a collective, they were going to have the same offensive numbers, and their offensive numbers have been good. They have been good to this point. I would argue that maybe the pitching they faced is not as top notch as they will face the rest of the year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The numbers so far are good.
Yeah. My two quick things before we get to the break here for the first guest. My two quick things from last night were, number one, I want to know, obviously, Manuel Margot's injury. I saw that. A great play by him, just the psychological game he was playing with Syndergaard and getting in there on second. But now he's injured, and he's having probably the week or two at the plate of his entire career, I'd say. So That's probably the worst thing I saw yesterday, honestly. Yeah. I really hope that this does not disrupt something with what he's been doing at the plate, because he's been the most consistent hitter for a 2-3 week stretch here for this team. And when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, who you think should win the MVP every single year.
Every year.
I tell you what, if you're the Rays, just put that guy on base and move on.
Just walk him.
Off the top of my head, I can recall in 2019, he hit for the cycle against the Rays in the Trop.
Yeah.
Last year, he killed the Rays at the Trop.
Yeah.
And then this year already in one game, he's hit 2 bombs. And we're going to have to face him tomorrow.
Yeah, on the mound.
I don't want to see Shohei Ohtani anymore against the Rays. Just put him on base and take your chances with somebody else.
Well, and that's the problem, though. There's a lot of somebody else's in that lineup.
It's number one offense in baseball.
Yeah, it's a lot of somebody else's in that line. And that's what, that's why I keep talking about this for Wander Franco. You got to get him some protection, man. You got to, like last night, he took an inside high fastball that was probably going to be a strike and just kind of served it out into left field, knowing that he could do it and get a hit. And did you see his reaction? He just got on base. He got a hit. And I think he got another multi-hit game. If I'm not, he's got 12 multi-hit games now. Tied for the lead in baseball. And he's like shaking his head going, that's what I got to do. I'm not going to get any good pitches to hit. So even the borderline pitches, I got to try to serve out into left field. I can't pull them. I can't get to my power stroke, because I'm not going to see anything in the zones, because they're going to just walk me every freaking time, because there's nobody to protect him. And at this part of his young career, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake for the Rays. You can't do that, because he's going to, he'll develop bad habits. He'll start swinging at bad pitches. We already saw him do that this year. He went through a spell of that.
Yeah. But I texted you right away. I was like, did that not look like Tony Gwynn to you?
It did. It really did.
It really looked like Tony Gwynn, and I popped huge for it. I was like, I'd rather see that. That gets me more entertained, because I think it's a little bit more impressive as I get into the stream here. So that was impressive. And even Randy, we called it yesterday. I'd like to see him get a home run finally, and he answered the bell yesterday.
Yep.
A good sign, too. He hit it to right center field and got just enough to get it over the high fence over there. So hopefully he gets going, because I noticed Kevin Cash dropped him in the lineup, too, yesterday.
Well, and, a little peck on the cheek from Brett Phillips.
A little peck. Just a little peck.
Do they normally do that?
I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
I was like, did he just kiss him on the cheek?
He did. Yeah, he kissed him on the cheek.
So that's the new high home run celebration?
Apparently, yeah.
Well, we haven't known since it's the first one that Randy's hit this year, but I guess now if Brett Phillips is on deck, he's going to give him a little peck on the cheek. Okay. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got so much to get to. We're going to get to Brady. We're going to get to the Bucs. And, of course, we're going to get to the Lightning. Big game tonight. Game 5 up in Toronto. And Brian Bradley will join us at 11:15. Chris Torello at 10:30. Coming up next, Jason Blewitt of West Point Thoroughbreds. We're going to find out a little bit more about Rich Strike and if there will be any controversy following this win. Stay with us. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it.
There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market.
So that means mute your, now you mute your mic and everything.
Tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system is services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Interesting. I just got a text from a very high-placed industry source in the NFL. Racing analyst and now leading the West Point Thoroughbred company, and knows more about horse racing than anybody I certainly know. And I wanted to bring him on to talk about this amazing story of Rich Strike. Jason, how are you, my friend?
Everything's well here on the other side of Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and like I think anybody and everybody that watched the Kentucky Derby on Saturday still trying to process what indeed we saw and the upset that took place.
Well, you're the man to tell me. I mean, there's so many angles to this story. What is the most interesting part of this Was it the trip that he took along the rail? The great job by the jockey, Sonny Leone. Was it the training, and was it the whispers of something else? What are you hearing? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's one singular factor. The more I think about this race, and I've watched it a bunch of times, and I'm sure some people listening, including yourself, have probably seen the basically that drone shot, the overhead shot, where you could follow Rich Strike's trip and how lucky, but also good, and being in the right place at the right time. All that stuff took place. So you have the trip. You've got a horse who, when I look at the Derby field on paper again, forgetting about the result, I can't believe Rich Strike was only 80-1. Like, I could never make that horse in a million years. And it's amazing that he won. And we'll talk about that in a sec. But I mean, this was one of the all-time great upsets, I think, in the history of American sport, not just horse racing. And then, you factor in 24 hours before the Kentucky Derby's run. I mean, this horse is on the outside, literally looking in, because if Ethereal Road doesn't scratch, Rich Strike doesn't even get to run in the Kentucky Derby. So 1 in a million doesn't really sum it up. This is like 1 in 10 million or 100 million with this horse, not only racing, but beating the field at 80-1.
Why was he talk a little bit about his history? I know he could have been year for $1,000. I bet there's a few horsemen that are regretting that right now, right? Talk a little bit about that process and his pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this horse's pedigree, he was bred and raised by Calumet Farm, which is a dynasty in terms of like American racing is a dynasty, and they raced Ali Dar back in the 70s and his great robbery with the firm. Now, the guy that owned Calumet Farm originally, or that family, they're either out of the game or they've passed on. A guy by the name of Brad Kelly, who's a multi-billionaire, bought Calumet Farm a bunch of years ago and has built it up back into a powerhouse. So this horse, Rich Strike, has a very solid pedigree. But, that old adage, you breed the best to the best and hope for the best, oftentimes it's not nearly as simple as that. And, through Rich Strike's career, he looked like an average, like right on the bubble in like minor stakes company. I'm not talking about the level of the Triple Crown races or Breeders' Cup race. Like, he didn't look anywhere near on that level, but he had run well enough in some Kentucky Derby prep races where horses need to accumulate points. He had run third, he had run fourth. He had never gotten close to winning any of these stakes, mind you, but he had just done enough to squeak in to the body of the field, or at least the also eligible part of the field, where he needed a little luck to get in. So again, I think back, this is the one sport where you don't need to be a Saudi king or a guy like, George Steinbrenner when he was alive and was a big horse owner. And obviously his family owns the New York Yankees. Any horse with any background can step up on any given day and potentially win, which is a beautiful thing.
Jason Blewitt joining us here. He's the account representative at West Point Thoroughbreds, longtime horse racing analyst and announcer. Talk a little bit about the trip that Sonny Leone took him on, and how, as I saw them coming down the stretch, and some of the other contenders went way wide. How much less ground do you think that Rich Strike covered, maybe compared to some of the other horses in there? He ran a much shorter race, did he not?
He did. No, that's a very, very astute point there in watching the replay, certainly, and especially that head-on really gives you a neat perspective. And you could see, because look, jockeys in general are always looking in the stretch to make those outside moves. And I can't really articulate it, but when you watch a horse race, oftentimes if a horse is going to win from off the pace and close down and get by a horse or two for the win, the majority of the times they're just going to make those moves on the outside. And it seems like most most horses prefer in the home stretch running and getting their momentum outside of horses. It just, for whatever reason, is more difficult when you close up the inside. And you could see, I mean, it's clear as day as horses and riders are turning off that far turn and they're just starting to enter the home stretch. You see everybody start to drift outside, and he needed some luck, Rich Strike and Sonny Leon, because he had to split horses at one point. But I mean, once he got around Messier with a furlong to go, with about 200 yards to go, there was clear sailing inside, and he had dead aim on epicenter. And just incredible, the luck and skill of this rider. And I'm sure some people have read or were watching the race live. I mean, the background of this jockey, Sonny Leon, who I've worked in racing for almost a quarter century and have been a fan of the game for over 30 years. And I love horse racing, is my life. Truth be told, and being honest, I had never even heard of this kid. I didn't know in the racing form, it was just, it goes by last name and then first initial. So in the program, it was Leon S. You would ask me what his first name was. I don't know, Sam. I wouldn't have had a clue. So just amazing.
Where would you rank this as far as crazy finishes and stories and unlikely finishes in the history of the Kentucky Derby, the very rich history over 140 some years?
Yeah, you're looking at almost 100, 150 years in a race that I 20 and run under. It was contested in the midst of World War I and World War II. So they're, almost 150 years straight. Although in 2020 it was run in September, there's never been a 12-month year that's gone by where the Kentucky Derby wasn't contested. So, again, there is a big sample size and a ton of history and many, many, many great horses that have not only won the Derby, but even some great horses that didn't get it done on the first Saturday in May. And I'll tell you, in my lifetime and my fandom of the sport, I'm going to rank, I know it just happened, so it's fresher than some of the other Derbies, of course. But still, I think it's more than just a knee-jerk reaction. I think this is the biggest upset in certainly our lifetimes, and it eclipses. I remember how I felt in 2009 when Mind That Bird from New Mexico won. It's similar, but I still think this result was wackier and just as good of a story with the modest human connections on the side of this horse that anyone could have bought last year for just $30,000.
$30,000, including you?
Yeah, I had a few West Point partners, joking around, of course, but I got some text after the Derby on Saturday,
I bet you did.
Like, "Hey, dummy, how come you didn't recommend us claiming and buying this horse for $30,000? Jeez.
Oh gosh!
But just incredible. And I just noticed right before you guys called this morning, the ratings. The NBC ratings were up from last year, and it just this euphoria with this everyday man's horse, like a real folk hero type horse. And the background with the people associated, it feels like people really enjoyed watching this that has had its issues, to say the least, over the last decade or so.
Well, let me ask you about that with Bob Baffert. Obviously, last year with the Kentucky Derby winner being disqualified for whatever you want to call it, a pain cream or whatever, steroids or whatever. And there, let's just be honest, there were a lot of whispers about this Rich Strike as well. Is the horse drugged up? Where did he come from? What the hell's going on here? But there's been no evidence, right? We would know by now if there was any shenanigans going on with this horse, right? Do you expect anything to happen or any of that stuff? Or there's just whispers, jealousy type stuff?
Yeah, I think, again, you've got a fresh but also bad precedent with the Derby run last May with Baffert. And, that's a whole other conversation. And I don't really know the man personally. Right. And, he's never trained even just for West Point. But, again, whole other conversation. I kind of wish he had just taken his days, taken his punishment without really opening his mouth. And I think a lot of that made it worse and clearly drew more attention to Medina Spirit and that medication positive he had a year ago. So I think more or less it's just that unfortunate incident is fresh in everybody's mind. And so you have maybe a little more speculation and, whispers here and there than you would have normally. But, I got to think, again, not, call me naive if you want, this horse was clearly post-race tested immediately after the Derby, and he'll come back clean, and we'll have a great story already less than 2 weeks from now when this horse heads to Baltimore for the second jewel of the Triple Crown and the Preakness Stakes.
Man, what a story. And we hope to see if he were to win the Triple Crown. Oh my God, this would be one of the greatest stories in the history of sports. But Rich Strike, what a story, what a run. And even the stretch call, I forget the announcer's name, but he did not mention Rich Strike once until probably the final 30 yards of the race when he came out of nowhere. You could see him coming, in hindsight, you could see him coming, and then you're like, and he literally did not mention him until they were about 20 yards from the finish. And
yeah, absolutely.
What a story.
Yeah. Larry Comas,
who
calls the Triple Crown
Great
and the
call.
Breeders' Cup for NBC and is a total pro. I do give him credit because I'm sure I would have been if I could do what Larry does, and very few of us.
Oh my God,
you're not saying that. Very few people can do that, and then certainly do it at a level Larry's at. He's the best in the business.
Yeah.
Although he picked them up and would probably say, I wish I had picked them up a little sooner. At least he knew who it was. It wasn't like, who the heck is that in the red and white? But just a wild finish and an unforgettable Derby. And we'll see, man. Does this horse come back again at Baltimore in the Preakness and get it done? I have a feeling the Preakness, which is a huge event to begin with, there's going to be far more eyeballs tuned in. Not this Saturday, the following Saturday, just because Rich Strike's in the field looking to pull off another crazy upset.
Oh, no doubt. All right, Jason, great stuff. Tell everybody how they can find your content, my friend.
Yeah, West Point Thoroughbreds.com. You can hit me up. I'm on Twitter as well at Jason Blewitt 30. That was my number playing lacrosse back in the day, and Henrik Lundqvist's number, my favorite New York Ranger of all time, even though it looks like they're unfortunately about to get bounced. Let me ask you, though, because I'm a big hockey guy and I root for the Florida Panthers too. What are we thinking with Toronto and Tampa before I let you guys go?
Lightning get it done tonight. They finish it off in 6, as predicted here. We predicted every series last year right on the button. So hopefully our streak will continue. Yeah, I think the Lightning, if they finally they flipped the switch. Now they're going to get it done like they always do. And man, we would love to see your Panthers again. That was the best series last year. I think it was actually the Stanley Cup final series. To be quite honest, I think they were the two best teams last year. And we hope to see you again. You got to get through Washington though, my friend. So
it's been a slog. Obviously, they won last night in OT. They're finally, and I think comparable to Tampa, and Tampa's clearly got guys that have done it and veterans and a legendary squad for the most part, led by Stamkos. But I feel watching the Panthers last night, it's like the sleeping giant with the Panthers is finally starting to awaken. Yep. And I think Tampa too, it's like, all right, we're this good. Let's go, boys. Let's get it done.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jason, thanks for your perspective. Really appreciate it. Let's talk again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. Anytime. Have a great one.
All right, we'll bring you on for the Preakness, the pre-Preakness. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Chris Torello is going to join us from Spectrum Sports 360. Always fun to chat with him. We'll talk about this breaking news this morning. Brady, the lead analyst for Fox Sports, maybe he pushed Aikman out. Interesting. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is Fan Stream Sports with JP.
I wonder how the hierarchy works here in the ESPN land. The Bees in Carolina get the mothership ESPN. We get ESPN2 tonight. Aren't we the two-time defending Cup champions? Isn't Boston our bitch? I believe that is. Chris Torello joining us here from Spectrum Sports 360. What's up, my friend?
I'm fine with it, man. Boston getting prime spot. That's the way it should be, man. Boston up near, you got all your UConn and Syracuse alums up there in Bristol. So you got to stay with New England, man.
Yeah, right. That's okay. We'll be the underdogs. We'll be slighted. You can do that to us. That's just fine. Just more motivation. And then just the world gets to watch Boston lose. Although let's give them credit. A nice comeback against Carolina. To even the series 2-2, but whatever, right? How are you, my friend?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How you been?
Excellent. I've been watching you on Spectrum Sports 360, and I kind of want to dive in. We've been talking about a lot of other stuff this morning, but because I know your affinity for USF and you cover them better than just about anybody else. Lot going on over there. You got the new quarterback coming in. Even the basketball team just got a transfer from Memphis, 3-point shooter.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler Harris.
The on-campus stadium looks like that's a go. There's a lot of good things happening to USF. I sense something big on the horizon there. I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship, but good things are happening. Your thoughts?
Well, that's what happens when you have alignment. When you have Rhea Law, when you have Michael Kelly, Jeff Scott, everybody's all aligned. And everybody was kind of criticizing Michael Kelly about a month or two ago when he basically was like, "Look, I've got all my coaches lined up through 26, 27." And obviously Brian Gregory's been under tremendous scrutiny, and rightfully so. But he's been doing his job. Basketball is as tough as any when it comes to guys wanting to leave. And you could have a year where you're, like last year where they had, I think, like 10 new guys, and this year they're going to have new guys as well. And, so he's trying to put the pieces together. And let's not forget Jose Fernandez, Priscilla Williams from Syracuse. And, they got a few big time players from overseas as well. So he's continuing to go through his transfer portal and his European ways. So, there's a lot of good, like you said, and then of course Gerry Bohanon from Baylor. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Scott. I think the move with Gerry basically says we have the pieces. We got to make sure we have the right quarterback, whoever that may be, September 3rd.
So how do you think that works with Timmy McClain and bringing in Bohanon, who intended to at Baylor? But Aranda, their coach there, Dave Aranda, obviously a good coach. If Bohanon was, and I don't know how coaches do this now, they got to bring in the young freshmen, these hot shot freshmen, and if they don't clear the way for the hot shot freshmen, then they're not going to come. So he gets rid of an experienced quarterback for maybe a young hot shot freshman, and now the USF gets Bohanon, who I'm sure has got something to prove in 2 years to do it of eligibility. This could be a really big deal for USF.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And first off, to Dave Aranda, give him a lot of credit. He's a stand-up guy. This is someone who, obviously, Bohanon was the starter for most of the year, but towards the end of the year, he got a little banged up. They went with the other guy, and that was kind of who rode them to a Big 12 championship. And so it was kind of obvious to see that guy was going to win the job. So I give Aranda a lot of credit and basically told Bohanon, look, you got to enter the transfer portal. You can ride the bench, but I got to be straight with you. And I think more coaches are trying to at least give that vibe in order to give some of their older guys a chance to move on. We just saw the North Dakota State quarterback is also putting his hat in the ring. So, there's guys who are, going to have to make tough decisions. I think what Jeff Scott has been able to do is no depth chart. So he really means it when he says Timmy McClain, Travis Marsh, heck, even Byron Brown, who they're really high on, the new freshman. They're going to let these guys play it out this fall. I've talked to people around the program, and it's competition. And just because Gerry Bohanon comes in with his very good, very experienced, 22 years old. You mentioned he's got technically 2 years of eligibility. That's a COVID year for next year, so I more look at it as a one and done situation for him. Mm-hmm. But look, whoever wins the job, I think the most important thing here, whoever wins the job, Jeff Scott and Travis Trickett need to damn well stick with that kid. You cannot do what you did last year where you roll out Cade Fortin for 8 months, announce it on Twitter the week of NC State, and then a quarter in and Timmy McClain's in the game, and then it's musical chairs. You can't have that if you're trying to go to a bowl game this year.
Nah, you got to have more consistency, no doubt about it. Chris Torello, Spectrum Sports 360, joining us. So the big news this morning: Tom Brady is going to be the lead analyst for Fox when he's done with the Bucs. And I think it's great for the Buccaneers because I think this was going to be his last year anyway, and now it definitely is going to be his last year. I don't think there's any question about that. And he's going to obviously be all in, and knowing this is his last year, even a guy that's as committed as he is, this just puts a little bit extra, I think, on the fire for him. And that, if that's the case, look out, rest of the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think this means Gronk is coming back. I think it means whoever he wants, with obviously not Antonio Brown, but if he wants a piece, he's probably going to get him for a year. And he's going to do everything he can to make sure that he's on that final podium come February. And when he lifts up the Lombardi Trophy, he'll look right into the camera and say it's a hell of a way to go out. He wants to dictate it. I think he had to stay true to guys like Adam Schefter, who is a fellow Michigan guy, and obviously they had probably tipped him off in some degree. And I think Brady wanted to retire, but didn't like the way it all went down, and then got 40 days into it and said, "Screw it, I'm not satisfied." And I think more than anything, Brady wants to control the narrative, and his narrative has to be that he's the one who says he's done. And so I think that's part of this as well. But look, you're going to get everything you got out of Tom Brady for 2022 here in Tampa. And, like you said, if you're the rest of the league, you should be scared. And to be quite honest, I don't see anybody in the NFC that comes close to what he's going to bring.
No, I think obviously the Rams are a good football team, but repeating is difficult. I like what the Bucs have done in this offseason. They may not be done. They may be able to add another receiver, an experienced receiver. There's still some good ones out there. And knowing that this is – because I think this is going to kind of morph into this, this is the grand goodbye for the greatest to ever play and all that comes with that. And like you just said, everybody's going to want to play with Tom. Everybody's going to want to be a piece of this. And if you're the Buccaneers, my God, as the Glazers, you just hit the jackpot. Everything he touches, every game is going to be the last this, the last that, the last this. And I think the Bucs will have a good football team. This could be just one hell of a season. Thinking about
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone will actually say it. Like, it's like a la The Last Dance. Like, did we all think Jordan was done? Like, we kind of felt there was that whole unraveling going on in Chicago. Yeah, probably. But I think if you're Brady, the biggest thing is probably, he again just probably wants to focus on playing, doesn't want to worry about everybody giving him a standing O and doing all this stuff before the game. Or I don't think he'll have to worry about that because, again, he still could say, well, I'm not done yet. Let's just focus on playing the season. So, he doesn't, whatever he wants to do, again, it's about dictating the narrative. He can do whatever he wants. If he just wants to roll in on Sunday in away stadiums and play the game and not worry about any of the other stuff, the hoopla, pregame ceremonies and everything, he doesn't have to go through that because he hasn't announced anything. So it's just go out, play your game. And look, nobody wants Brady to come and beat them. They're tired of Brady. Everybody wanted Brady to go away. And he didn't. So I think everybody's pissed off, to be quite honest. They're not happy he's back for another year. They're ticked off he's back for another year.
Chris Torello joining us here. All right, you think the Lightning get it done tonight and come back and finish it off in Game 6? What do you think?
Week and a half ago, I predicted it was in 6, and I said my colleague Mike Cairns would be there for the closeout game on Thursday, May 12th. So, I mean, this is nothing new, everybody. I mean, I've predicted every series for the last 2 years correctly, so this is nothing for me.
You stud. Me too, by the way. And I picked them in 6.
I don't think you have the same track record as me, JP. I think I'm the only one who did it. So over the last 2 years.
Last year for sure. I don't know about last 2. So you got the last 2 years, like total?
Pretty dead on.
Damn,
dead
son.
on.
Damn. I'm
the only one who was like, oh, they're going to take care of the Bruins in 5. Don't worry about that. Like, everyone's like, are you serious? I'm like, no, don't worry. It's all done. The Bruins suck. So, it's all pretty easy.
But, okay. Nostradamus. What's the score going to be tonight so I can get some action down on this? Another high scoring game, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. I think John Cooper even said it. He's like, it's just amazing how one-sided everything's been. It's like one team just kind of takes control, and that's the end of it. So I wouldn't shock me if tonight's the night where we see that really good game where, because everyone knows what's on the line. The winner gets the team where your team is afraid to play. And so I think if you're, I think this could be one of those 4-3 games, now, I mean, obviously the empty netter could come in at the end, 5-3, stuff like that. But this could be one of those drama games where you come out of the second period going, okay, we get that classic third period coming up here. Yes. We get that classic game. So, I think tonight's the night you get that game.
Well, we got a little bit of that in Game 3, although Lightning let them get out too far at 3-0. Came back.
It never felt like they were in it, though. I know they were in it for those 13. It just never felt like they were going to get that goal. Really? It never did. I was there. It never felt like it.
I would disagree with you there. They hit the post twice. Did they not?
Well, it never felt. Yeah, but I never felt like they were converting. I thought that Campbell was way too good, and I don't know. That's, again, I was sitting there watching it, same as you, and I know there was a lot of drama, but it felt like Toronto had done enough to put themselves in front. And then, it felt like it for a little while, but then after that Stamkos shot and it went right into him, I said, okay, that was their best. That's it. We're done. We'll just add a couple empty netters and I'll just sit here waiting for the press conference. And that's what happened.
Yeah. All right. The Rays at a pretty good start for them. I'm still a little skeptical of their offense, if they have enough to be consistently good enough to win to worries, to win anything.
Look, I think the Yankees have done a really nice job to start the year, and give them credit. They've kind of, their rotation has come through more times than not. Their bullpen is doing well. And look, I think for the Rays, it's kind of typical Tampa Bay, right? How many injuries are they going to go through? How many guys are they going to have to go through in terms of arms? But, look, they're playing a lot better. They're starting to piece it together, and I think that's important. Yeah, you're going to have nights like last night, but this team will bring it together enough, and I think the expanded playoff will allow a team like the Rays to get in, and then if they get in, then okay, here we go. Like, I think they're a team that I think can has already been ahead of the curve. I mean, how many teams did we see over the last few playoffs where they were using the opener. They were using the bullpen formula. So the Rays are very comfortable when it comes to those situations. And I don't want to say they're kind of like the Lightning, but I feel like they are in terms of, hey, we just got to get through the regular season. We're good enough to win enough games. Let's get to the postseason. Let's stop screwing around.
Right.
You know, the one goal that we haven't done is won a World Series. So I think that's what they're going to try and do. But I'll tell you what, I think Eric Meander's going to be bloodthirsty come the deadline. I really think if he sees somebody out there, I think he's going to be willing to make a deal this year. If it's Kevin Kiermaier, if it's someone else, I think he's willing to do it. I think if he feels like they need a piece, they haven't had a true closer. You know, they need some guys. And if I said it to you the last time I was on, I really believe if they think they can go get somebody, they're going to do it.
And add significant payroll. I'm not talking about, a $9 million player. I'm talking about a $20 million player.
Kevin Kiermaier, that's not a payroll.
But nobody wants it.
You could. Well, yeah, but what if it is more of a, hey, let's take the $6 million here, we dump, this and that, and it's a wash for the Rays where they're adding, $12 million, but we were already prepared for $12 million. So, there's different ways of doing it. But yeah, no, I don't know. Look, I think when you feel a playoff race and the revenue that will come from that playoff race, sometimes you just do it. You bite, especially if it's a half-year rental. We're not talking about adding years and millions. We're talking about 4 months. That's always been what they do really well, whether it was Nelson Cruz or anybody else. They are prepared to add money. So I think, this is Eric Meander, this is Stu Sternberg. They're trying to make sure that they get as many fans as they can to the Trop, and they're going to have to have some headlines. So we'll see. That's just my opinion on the matter. But I mean, does that mean they add millions and millions and millions in payroll? Probably not, JP. I mean, it's very, we understand, but I think there is a lot of potential.
Maybe what someone should ask Stu, like, hey, you got $500 million in the bank, and you always said you'd put that money back into the team. So why not, go out there and throw a little bit of that $500 million around? Well, yeah, but he needs it for the stadium, doesn't he? I mean, this is what's going on here. There's always going to be an answer from him. There's always going to be a yeah, but. Well, then the follow-up question is, how much you putting into the stadium? $500 million? Yeah, well, he has all right, deal's done. Congratulations. But then I don't have any money. I put it into the team. So I mean, there's always. What about the $500 million that's sitting over there in the new Rays company that you own yourself? What about that one? I don't. I think it's getting more complicated by the day. I don't think they know where they're going yet. I don't think it's settled. I don't think Tampa is settled. I don't think St. Pete is settled. No, it's Tampa. It's all just. Tampa. Well, I hope so, but I mean, it's right. They're trying to figure out the roof right now. They got roof issues. They're trying to figure out the roof. That's easy. That's easy. You need a roof. That's easy. You need a roof. There you go. Done. You need a roof. Next issue. What kind of roof? Was it going to be a sail? Is it going to be? Well, it can't be retractable. That's too much money, and it's not worth it. No, that's way too much. So I think it has to be. I think it has to be something that allows for the natural light if they really want it. But I like the translucent roof, but it's expensive. Yeah, I like it too. I think the biggest thing is how will it sound like when there is that torrential downpour, when there is. When there's stuff going on outside. So I think they want to be, they're probably doing their homework there. But even Stu said opening day, he goes, we need a roof. Yeah. So I think, there's no, listen, this is going to approach $1 billion. They could probably keep it just under. But, look, there's a lot of potential. And wherever they go in Tampa, wherever they decide to build, just know that you can build something around it. And if you go the Patriot Place motto, if you go the Atlanta Braves model, you will have something that people can go to every single day. And that is shopping, restaurants. You can bring revenue. It's jobs. It's there's so much tourism. I mean, that's one more place to stop if you're coming in for the weekend. So I think there's a lot of benefits. And I think by 2027 and 2028, you're going to have people coming in to watch USF on their on-campus stadium. Yes. And they're going to say, hey, the game's on we've got a nice September Saturday game at on-campus stadium, and we're going to go a Friday night. We're going to go watch the Rays play. I think that's going to benefit greatly. Chris Torello Field is what they're going to call that out there in USF land. Let me get my money. Let me get my broadcasting money, and then I'll pour it all in. You know me. That's exactly what I want to do with it. So can't wait. All right. What's going on at Spectrum Sports 360 this week? What kind of stories are we following? What's up?
Well, obviously we got the Lightning, and that's where our focus is. But I'm actually I am gonna go talk to Jose Fernandez and Brian Gregory later this week to talk about all their transfers and their success on the recruiting trail. So I'll be with them, and also on tomorrow I will actually be doing a ride along with Lakeland PD, because if you saw this video that popped up about a week and a half ago of this Lakeland female officer. She was schooling this kid one-on-one in a backyard basketball game.
Yes.
Full uniform. That is Andrea Smith, former Lake Gibson, former USF 1,000-point scorer.
Oh.
And she and her twin sister went to USF, so I will be doing a ride-along with
Love
her,
it.
and we will be shooting some hoops. So that is a story that we have been working on for a little while to set up, and I can't thank the Lakeland PR people enough, because I think it'll be a really good story to tell.
Another great local story brought to you by the great Chris Torello. And Nick wanted me to point out that your Twitter handle, so everybody knows, is at Chris Torello with 2 L's. He wanted to point out that there's 2 L's in your name. I don't know what that means.
That's fine. I don't know either. I mean, it's Torello, so yeah. I mean, there's 2 L's. I mean, I don't understand what that means. What's going on with Nick? Is he okay?
He's right here. Two L's
that USF has a better transfer quarterback? I mean, I'm confused now. I mean, you had a guy who played baseball playing football now. I mean, I'm confused.
Chris,
so,
listen. I'll send you the snippet from yesterday. I was praising Gerry Bohanon yesterday. Praising.
That's nice.
Praising, and
it's Gary actually.
Gary Bohanon.
It's Gary.
There you go. Gary Bohanon.
Gary. Yeah. Get the name right if you're going to respect them. So
there you go.
That's okay though. That's okay. It'll be fun. USF's going to beat UCF this year. I'll put that on record right now.
I don't know about that one.
That game is in Raymond James, right?
Ray J. That's bowl game eligibility for USF, and if they have the quarterback right, they have the talent. They really do. They really do.
I don't know about that. UCF South will be coming in full effect, I think.
Well, I still think UCF's going to win the American. It's just going to be with that big blemish on their record. That's all.
Blemish on the record.
Yeah, losing to USF.
They'll lose to USF, and then they'll go in the American, and they'll have their parade, and they'll have their party, and everything will be fine. I'm very high on Gus Malzahn. I love Gus Malzahn. I love what UCF's doing over there. Terry Mahajer is a wonderful, wonderful AD. Got nothing but love for the Central Florida Knights.
But USF is coming, baby. USF is coming.
I think they are coming. I think they are. I think they are. They're figuring it out. They got the right guys in the transfer portal. Bob Shoop was the biggest addition to this. He is a MFer. He is hard nosed. He was going after the referees during a spring game. So that guy wears an angry face and readers better than Jimbo Fisher. So I am locked in on this guy. I love this guy.
Yeah, I met him at the golf tournament. Super nice guy. Cannot hit a 7-iron worth a damn. But then again, I don't want my defensive coordinator hitting a 7-iron worth a damn. I want him in the damn office watching film, not playing golf. So that's good.
Show me a football coach who can golf well, and I'll show you a guy who's not a football coach.
Not for long, anyway.
Pretty simple.
All right, my brother. Always great to talk to you. The great Chris Torello. Watch him on Spectrum Sports 360 every night, 10:30. Spectrum Sports. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. 2 L's in Torello. I did that for you just to stoke the fire.
I had no idea where that was going. I had no idea.
2 L's.
2 L's.
As in loser.
I hope so.
No, he's an Nostradamus. He's picked every Stanley Cup series correctly.
I did goof there because literally yesterday I said Gerry Bohanon like 5 times.
Yeah, you did.
And of course, the one time where I got to put on a good front for Torello, I said Jerry.
You choked.
I choked.
You're nervous because he gets up on you.
He is in my head. He is in my head. If you ask any of my friends, you know how to get in my head. He was in my head.
He is in your head. He's living rent free. There's no doubt about that.
Well, he answered the phone and said, "Hey, sweetie.
Yeah.
How you doing?"
Gave you a little peck on the cheek like Brett Phillips did to Randy Rosen.
What am I going to do? I've lost the battle before it's begun.
What are we going to do about that? You two. We need to get you when I'm out on vacation, you and Torello should co-host the show and just like go at it the whole time.
So I can have my worst outing ever.
Yeah. He'll just beat you down for 2 hours. Oh, he got sharp tongue. All right, we'll take a break, and when we get back, Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11:15 live from Toronto. We'll get into a little bit more Rays stuff, Lightning stuff. We got I think we got a little sound from Cooper from yesterday, and all kinds of good stuff to get to. Brady to Fox. Wow. Say what? Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Also, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Christopher Lugo and his medical team will get you right. If you're looking for a new primary care physician, this is the place to go. Christopher Lugo works with our top pilots in the military, also himself in the military medical profession, just got appointed to a very prestigious position that he told me he can't speak about in public. That's how prestigious it is. But seriously, does work with a lot of our special forces, and he will work with you as well. So if you want to get in tip-top Top Gun, coming out in a couple weeks, by the way, type of condition, then Christopher Lugo is your man. They do testosterone replacement therapy. If you're looking to lose some weight, they've got some great plans for that as well. But you got to find out and go in there and just visit with them. Get an appointment. They'll spend 45 minutes, an hour with you at times just to find out what's going on with you, what's your medical history, and devise a plan that's going to put you in optimal health and get you ready, quite frankly, for the next pandemic, right? Get that immune system up and very, very robust. And there's a lot of ways to do it with modern medical techniques. A lot of the old Western medicine stuff, folks, it's tired, it's old, it doesn't work anymore. Get with modern medicines. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Contact them there. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show. They'll give you priority scheduling, and trust me, you will thank me for this. Take control of your health in a modern way. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, I wanted to go into Brian Bradley, by the way, coming up at 11:15 live from Toronto as we get to some Game 5 talk here in a little bit. Wanted to dive into the Brady thing a little bit more as we were having kind of an interesting discussion off air here. And the deal. You were telling me, Nick, the deal is what? It's a 10-year deal, over $200 million, 20 to 25 a year. And it's going to be much more than just calling football games. He's going to be involved in Fox inner workings, et cetera, et cetera.
We don't have the terms of the deal yet. They just said it's longer than the typical 5-year deal, which I guess most of these announcing deals are, in the 20 to 25 million year range, which would make him the highest paid analyst, as I believe either Tony Romo or Troy Aikman Romo, on his new deal with ESPN.
Yeah, that's true. Aikman's new deal may be 20 a year.
Yeah, became in. And it's very interesting because when Troy Aikman left Fox, he's been asked a million times, what happened, obviously, because he's been there for so long. And he kind of said, I kind of didn't really know why they didn't kind of bring me back. Like I was negotiating with ESPN. I kind of brought my number to them and they kind of just were like, okay,
we're good.
So there was never really, I guess he didn't ever got his clarity, I guess, from Fox of why he left, which is pretty interesting. So it would lead on to think that this Brady stuff was probably in the works maybe during that 40 days.
Yeah. As I look back on the timeline, when Brady retired, was he retiring to go into the booth right away? I mean, obviously these conversations have been happening for quite some time. Because of Aikman's deal. I mean, you go backtracking when all this stuff was getting negotiated. So he's sitting there, unbeknownst to us, he's sitting there looking at a pile of money from Fox. And obviously they want him right now. But clearly he was set on playing at least one more year. And then how does the whole Dolphins talk and all this other stuff get into it? I think that was all Stephen Ross, hopeful, wannabe, I think I can make this happen type stuff. Yeah. It was never really I think in consideration for Brady seriously, because the Bucs were never going to let him go. He was under contract.
Yeah, and I think we're all assuming that Brady's probably this is 1 year and that's it, right? And the model I think has already been set because Drew Brees did the same thing.
He did exactly the same thing
with NBC and he went out.
Yep.
I do feel like it's probably Brady's last year if I really had to make a prediction on that, but then again, I just don't know. Like what happens this year if we go back to the postseason and Brady, the Bucs, they lose like in the conference championship. What happens if they lose in the divisional round? What happens? What if there's a lot of injuries again? Everything goes wrong. I mean, does Brady really go out like that? He wants to control it so bad. And I think he wants that storybook ending so bad.
Yeah.
I can't really put a determination yet that this is going to be the final year. They might be amping up like it's going to be, but I think the results still have something to say about that.
I think from like Booger said this morning on Get Up, and one thing it proves is that he does not like staying at home. He does not like
nobody
does not like the car drop off line at all. Yeah, when you're playing in those deep waters like he's played in all his life, when you're a big deal like this, no anonymity and sitting at home probably does it, but he was never going to do that anyway. I thought he would follow the Peyton Manning model though, and not never be an announcer, or the Michael Jordan, analogy.
He feels like an owner more than an announcer, right? If he was going to do something with the game after. So, I mean, listen, I'm employed by Fox, so clearly it's a big deal for Fox, obviously. I know it's you just signed the greatest player in the history of the NFL to a big contract like that. And let's face it, you look around the landscape of announcing right now, which I put something out there. It had all the top announced teams for all the 5 networks now.
It's pretty good.
It seems as pretty stacked as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And I think Fox having Kevin Burkhardt, he's going to slide into the Joe Buck
Joe
role.
Buck role, yeah.
And I think they were kind of missing that guy they wanted there. Not that because Greg Olsen, I think, is great.
Yep.
But I think Fox, when you look at the name cachet that Tom Brady brings, is a little bit different than Greg Olsen in all respect to him. So for Fox's standpoint, it's huge.
Now, I know the common theme is going to be, especially in media, types locally, that Tom Brady, he's going to be the greatest announcer ever. If he's going to be the Tom Brady that we get in press conferences, no. I mean, it's going to be, they're going to pay him $25 million to be cliche man. And he's just going to get on there and talk in cliches and protect his corporate image. I mean, nobody wants, I'm sorry, but I don't think anybody's going to be gravitate to him the first time some quarterback makes a terrible throw or a terrible decision. And he's, making excuses for the quarterback or what have you, and won't criticize the quarterback. If you're going to be a good analyst, you got to be brutally honest. And, and that's frankly why Peyton Manning didn't want to go into the booth, because he didn't want to, while his brother was playing, didn't want to be critical of his brother and maybe some of the other players that he has befriended over the years. Clearly Brady's not worried about that, or because I'm telling you, if he becomes this Pollyanna guy, like the reason we watch Charles Barkley is because Charles Barkley keeps it real and he will say what he wants to say. And that's why everybody loves Barkley. If he's going to be Mr. Cliche man, I don't know how that's going to wear well in public, especially, it's not like he's beloved everywhere. He's really not.
He's still beloved. If you took a look at the merchandise sales, the guy's 44 years old, has been in the league for 22 years, and he still is number 1 in merchandise sales still. So that tells you that beyond Bucs fans, there's still a lot of people that love this guy. It just is.
A lot of people that hate him too.
But that comes with being, the GOAT. Everybody.
Polarizing is good for TV and radio and everything. You want people.
Yes.
You want to stir something in people.
There's probably you see glimpses of it. You watch Man in the Arena. You watch some of these other things. There's glimpses of Brady.
Tommy and Gronky.
Yeah.
Tommy and Gronky. I'd love to get that. I'd like to get that Tommy at our press conference.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. But if that's the guy he's going to be, I think he could have a fascinating personality if he's real. Because everybody that knows him in private thinks he's funny and he cusses a lot. He's more of a regular guy, and we get this homogenized all-American boy thing in the corporate world. That if that's his persona on TV, I have no interest in it.
Well, that's
to be honest with you. If he's going to be real Brady, I'm all for it.
Well, that's the thing, and I can tell you, being in like the editorial business, I mean, I can't tell you how many times there's stories that go around. It's like Kirk Herbstreit said this,
right? Exactly.
Troy Aikman said this. You say anything that is remotely controversial or may have or is a certain opinion, 30,000 outlets are picking it up.
Right.
And I don't know, that's going to be an interesting part for Brady to have to handle that, because he's been able to control his narrative and everything he says.
Exactly.
And I brought up to you during the break those comments over the weekend of Charles Barkley about Tiger Woods. And I think Brady is in the same vein of an athlete like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, who you don't see go on shows. LeBron James, I'll throw him in there too. They don't go on shows.
Nope.
If they do, guess what? They're producing their own show.
Yep.
They control what they say and what they say.
It's your podcast. It's your Man in the Arena. You have editorial control over everything.
Over everything.
Which is smart, by the way.
Which is smart.
If you can do it, it's smart.
And I give those guys a pass because, like I said, those are like the 4, to me, big pillars of American sports probably. Still, even Jordan not even playing still is on that level. So by all means, if they have to control everything they do, that's fine. In announcing, it is a little different. You have to be a personality. That's why everybody loves Tony Romo, because you've seen this different side to him that, frankly, I never saw for 15 years in the NFL.
Right.
That came out. Troy Aikman, love him or hate him, going to give you a brutally honest take every single time he's there.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of what announcing is. So if it's going to work for Brady, then you probably need to see a little bit of him turned up a little bit, but I doubt you're going to get the full. I just have doubts you're going to get the full Tom Brady effect, and it's going to be more about here's Tom Brady announcing. It's just going to be the fact that here's Tom Brady right here more than the content itself.
That's not going to do it for me. I want the real Brady. I want I guess in this day and age, it doesn't pay to be real, right? You're not going to risk your $200 million contract by being canceled for something that you said. But You know, it's funny. Barkley can say a lot of crap that a lot of people can't say, and he gets away with it because he keeps it real.
We all accept it's Charles Barkley.
Right.
It's who he is.
Right.
It's authentic.
Well, because he's set the standard, you know, for me. So I think it's going to be interesting how this kind of metamorphosized in his career. See how it see what it looks like.
Last point on this. What about when it comes to like Fox Sports' programming on FS1? I mean, Aikman would go on Colin Cowherd's show from time to time, you know, and do those appearances.
He'll have to.
Sharp.
He'll have to.
I mean, are we going to see Tom Brady on the herd?
Yes,
I mean,
he will.
are we going to get more insight for him? Because I feel like we see it in the Man in the Arena where he puts like his own insight on the game and you could see how smart he is. But everywhere else, when he talks about it, it's like cliche Brady, right?
Right.
I want to see him really like dive deep, and I want to see him like Romo does, calling plays out before. That's the stuff that I think the fans want to see from him.
Absolutely. Question is, will we get it? Will we get it? We'll see.
For the money it's making.
If I'm his producer, that's what I want. Well, I don't know. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll go up live to Toronto to chat with Brian Bradley, and we'll get us set for Game 5 tonight. And we got a big watch party here, too, we'll talk about as well. So I'll be headed out to that tonight. So stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making .com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. Also, the Golden Diamond Source. Mother's Day has come and gone. But, hey, if you gave your mom a gift card, get over there and shop at the Golden Diamond Source, whether it be GDS or whether it be what's wrong, Nick? Did you forget something again with your mom?
Oh my gosh, thank you for reminding me. I was at Casey's last night and I forgot the flowers again.
You forgot the flowers for your mom again.
Dang it, man.
Now you got to go to the Golden Diamond Source. Now you have to go to the Golden Diamond Source.
A pretty big hole.
You got
right
a
now.
huge hole. Yeah, go get your mom some diamond earrings in your budget. By the way, they'll have that for you. Everything, 0% financing for 5 years. So just put a little bit down, and you can get whatever you want for mom. And it better be big this time.
Yeah. I promise I'm a good son.
You are a good son. Well, you went to Golden Diamond Source for your diamond ring, so that's all good. Get something for Brian Bradley while you're there. That'll be nice. He loves the diamond earrings, especially. Brian Bradley joining us from Scotiabank Arena in beautiful Toronto. What's up, my friend? You there at the morning skate?
Yes, I am. JP Peterson. I'm at the morning skate, getting ready for the Lightning to come on. And Game 5, the Leafs just skated. Looks like no changes. The Leafs got the exact same lineup they had in Game 4. Clifford's out. Simmons is out. So they talked about making a change. Maybe the Swedish defenseman was going to go in, but I don't see any changes. Hall's in. So I think Toronto's going with the exact same lineup they did the last couple of games.
Interesting. And I know Simmons took a couple of bad penalties. You think this is wise for them? You think this is a good move for them? What do you think?
Well, I mean, you know what? They won in Game 3, and got the Lightning played like 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs in Game 4. So,
Yes, they did.
I mean, we were quick puck movement. Relentless on the forecheck. Our effort and intensity was unbelievable. I mean, that's the first time I've seen the Lightning play in a long time with that kind of emotion, that kind of effort right from the beginning. I mean, when the score was 5-0, let's be honest, I mean, they really didn't have to play too hard after that, and some guys got goals. And I mean, they're talking about Nylander and John Tavares. I mean, they scored 2 goals, Nylander at the end. But I mean, when the game's 5-0, I mean, it's not hard to score goals at that point. I mean, score some goals when it means something.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean?
So do you think the Lightning?
And we held. Go ahead, JP.
So do you think the Lightning have flipped the switch now and will keep it on coming out? I mean, if they start fast like they did the other night, when they're skating like we saw Braden Point skating, and Nick Paul came out and Hagel in that first shift, and they kept Toronto pinned up in their zone. Then we send out Kucherov and Stamkos bangs it in. Place erupts. I mean, the place isn't going to erupt tonight when Stamkos scores within the first minute, but that's the kind of jump that the Lightning have to come out with. Do you expect that tonight, or will they go back to their on one game, off one game pattern?
I hope not, JP. I mean, you know what? They got to start stringing games together because you know what? I mean, they played really good in the third period of game number 3.
Yes.
You know what? Had an outstanding effort, and you know what? They could have probably tied the game up. Jack Campbell made some big saves, but started in Game 4 exactly how they left off. And to me, the effort, the intensity, the emotion. I mean, got the crowd involved, and that's how they played the last couple of years. I thought there was an outstanding game. I mean, the score was 7-3, but it was never in jeopardy, 5-0. So, you know what? It'll be interesting to see how Jack Campbell rebounds.
Yes.
I mean, he let in a lot of soft goals, and you know what? I still think our goalie Vasilevsky can play better. I thought he's played good, but he's not at the game where we won 2 Stanley Cups. I'm expecting Vazzy to come out here and having a shutdown game tonight and playing like Vazzy can, because this is what we need tonight. We need Vazzy to be the way he can play. He's outstanding goalie, the best goalie in the league, and I still think he can be better. I mean, Hedman had a big game. I mean, I thought Braden Point skated like an animal last game. He was outstanding. I mean, all over the puck and turns and stuff. So, and then Victor Hedman, hey, let's give a little shout out to Victor Hedman. You know what? Up for the, best defenseman in the NHL again for 6 straight years. That's impressive. So, I mean, he's a workhorse, great player. And like I said, I thought the whole team played well. It was just an outstanding effort by the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 4.
So, Brads, you mentioned the Norris Trophy and Victor Hedman. I think the Athletic did a poll of all players or GMs something, and they asked who the best defenseman in the game was, and Hedman won like by 78% or some ridiculous number. Now, we know Roman Josi has more points. Some guys have more points than Hedman, but why shouldn't he win the Norris when everybody knows he's the best damn defenseman and he's had a phenomenal year, record-setting, career-setting year for him? Why should he not win the Norris Trophy just because he hasn't had the most points? That's silly.
Well, you know what? It's hard to really say. Sometimes Victor Hedman's always in there. Like the record speaks for itself.
Right.
He's won the Norris before. You know what? He's been in the running for 6 years straight. That's unbelievable.
Crazy.
I mean, but sometimes guys have better years. I mean, you can't look. Roman Josi's had a great year, and so is Cale Makar in Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid, he's got 10 points in the first 4 games in the playoffs. That kid's the real deal. I mean, he's a superstar player. But I still would rather, if you gave me one player to have as a defenseman, I'd take Victor Hedman every time, because he's way better defensively than the other guys. He's great forecheck, and he's great. He gets up in the play. He's great defensively. So to me, Victor Hedman is by far and away the best defenseman in the NHL, and he's playing like it. Like I said, we just got to keep playing like we did in Game 4. It was unbelievable. And you know what? This arena here tonight's going to be, because you know what? I'll be honest with you, Toronto, this is a must-win for them. I mean, you know what? They have to beat Tampa tonight in Game 5, because I just can't see them doing anything. If they lose tonight, I say we win at home on Thursday night. It's over.
Yeah, I do too. I picked the Lightning in 6. I think that's the script that they're going to follow. You mentioned Vasi and Campbell. I'd like to dive into that a little bit more. I know Sheldon Keefe had a long conversation with Campbell when he pulled him. We can all, speculate to what that was. I'm sure he was trying to build him up more than, anything else and explaining why he's taking him out. But that being said, you played a couple years in Toronto. I mean, with all that this fan base is expecting of this team, especially this year and after last year's flame out, the choke to the Canadians up 3-1. I mean, the pressure on this kid, and this will be his 14th playoff start, I think. If something goes bad early, I don't know anything about him. I've never talked to him. I've never interviewed him. But I would think there's a lot of freaking pressure on this kid tonight. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, anytime you play in Toronto or Montreal, this is like the mecca of Canada for hockey. It's like playing for the New York Yankees or the Boston Red Sox. I mean, there's only one thing to do. That's win a championship. And Toronto hasn't did it since 1967. So people are dying for the Leafs to win a championship. And I mean, they look at us, we came in 92 and we won 3 championships, 2004, then the last 2 years. So for them, they don't understand how they haven't even been close. They haven't even won a first round series since 2004. So the pressure's on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They know it tonight. This is a must win for them. And you know what? Jack Campbell, they've never been in this situation before. That's why, we have Vasilevsky. He's won 2 Stanley Cups. He knows what it takes to win. He's amazing in games you need to win. So, I mean, neither team has really had a lead in this series. And you know what? We need to kind of get off to a quick start, play the same way, let them make mistakes. And you know what? At the end of the day, capitalize on our opportunities. But the first 10 minutes of Game 4 was outstanding. I mean, oh, my God. I was just sitting there. This is the Lightning team that won 2 Stanley Cups. This is it. Right now, we're game on. And Toronto didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
They had no idea what hit them. And, before long, it was 2, 3, 4, 0, 5, 0 after 2. And then whatever it ended up. I mean, do you think the guys aren't going full bore in the third period with a 5-6-1 lead?
No.
Not. Game's over. They're already getting ready for Game 5.
Exactly. Brian Bradley joining us live from Scotiabank Arena. Looks like no changes to the Leafs lineup tonight, which I think is interesting. I thought the Leafs played better when Wayne Simmons was out there chirping, and I know he took 2 bad penalties that hurt him, but I think that they played their best in Game 1. Toronto did. So I don't know. Is Sheldon Keefe making the right call here? This is a little bit of a roll of the dice, don't you think?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you need toughness, but you don't need to take penalties. I think they feel that to beat the Tampa Lightning, they're going to have to get some skill players involved in the game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't really know if Toronto was that good in Game 1 or we were just that bad. It was just a bad game for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was here. I mean, we won. They lost 5-0, but that's what I said. We came back. We rebounded in Game 2. So it doesn't matter if you lose 10-0, 2-1 in overtime, 5-0. At the end of the day, in the playoffs, it's one loss, and you just got to build on it. So we came back with a solid effort. But tonight's a huge game. If we can come out here and play the way we can, and we've been here before. We played the Islanders. We played out Dallas before. We've been in the playoffs. We've been to the Stanley Cup. We've won it. We know what these games are like in other buildings. Like last year in the playoffs when we played New York, it was crazy in New York against the New York Islanders. So these guys know exactly what's going on. We have a veteran team. We've been here, done it. And the Leafs, like I said, they I don't know if they know what's going to hit them tonight, so let's see what happens. It's going to be exciting to watch.
Well, let's hope they come out with that energy. And let me ask you about another kid, Ross Colton, who's got 3 goals now in the series. And at 25 years old, he looks like the next great Lightning player, and he's doing it in the playoffs. And we need that depth scoring, right? The top 2 lines usually cancel each other out in the playoffs. You need that 3rd and 4th line. And Ross Colton seems to be that guy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I love the way he played. He scored some big goals, 3 goals in the playoffs so far. He's got a great shot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on the ice right now. The Lightning are skating right here. So they've only got about 10 or 12 guys on the ice. But, I mean, he's got a bullet shot, a quick release and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I like their line. They started off in Game 3 or Game 4. It was a great start. Nick Paul and Brendan Hagel. And, it was fun to watch. And those guys got a lot of energy. And, that's the thing. And then Corey Perry, our power play, and Maroon. How about Maroon driving to the net, scoring the goal, the big rig? That was an outstanding play, getting his rebound. I mean, you're getting some other goals from other guys, and that's what you need. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, there's a hero every night. It doesn't have to, it's not usually the same guy. it has been the Kucherovs or Stamkos or Points. But you know what? There's always the Maroon. There's always the Ross Colton or Nick Paul. That's what we need. We need a couple guys to chip in and, you know what, be a hero for the game, because, you know, our other guys are going to chip in for some goals here and there.
So paint the picture for me there. We hear the guys on the ice, the puck's hitting the glass. I love that sound, by the way, in the background. Who's out there? What's going on? What do you see?
Well, you know what? Vazzy's not on the ice. You know, Elliott's in goal. They've got probably about 12 players on the ice right now.
All right.
I don't see Hedman, Point, Kucherov, Stamkos. None of those guys are
All
in.
right.
So it's like Palat, you know, Ruda, Hagel, you know, most of the guys, Ross Colton, Bogosian. I mean, you know what? None of the guys, Clorn's out here, Palat, but I don't see any of the big boys are not on the ice. Like the Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, and Hedman. They're not. Pretty well everybody else but those guys, and Vazzy. Vazzy's not out here. We only have one goalie on the ice right now.
All right, my friend. So you're there as an ambassador for the Lightning, right? You got some folks up there, some season ticket holders, some clients doing that whole thing tonight, right?
Yeah, we got some people from Amley and Ford. You know,
nice.
Amley. You know, Ken Burkett from Amley, and you know Scott and his wife from Ford. So you know, a couple sponsors had a good dinner last night, talked a little hockey, and then we're all excited about the game tonight. And it should be an electric crowd here at Scotiabank, and looking forward to game time at 7:30.
My man Bradley going to be up in his suite, going to have the champagne flowing for winning game 5, going to have the shrimp cocktail going, a little crab, cracking some crab. Yeah, I love it, baby. You're the man, Bradley. I want to grow up and be just like you someday.
Sounds good, JP.
You're the best.
It should be a good game tonight.
I cannot wait. I'll be at the watch party, so we'll be texting you, show you what's going on.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, brother, love you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, JP.
The great Brian Bradley there. Go Bolts. I love it when he's at the morning skate and you hear that in the background.
I love the voice.
Yeah.
I told you off air before that
It's
I
the
love
best.
a good Canadian accent, especially talking hockey. Love.
And he doesn't talk like an analyst, you know. He talks like a fan and a guy who's played the game, like you're just sitting at the bar with him, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we love about Brad's.
Yeah, I wanted to get
this
in here. I don't think we have to take a break yet. I came across these numbers here. I thought they're very interesting. That kind of shows you
Nicky numbers.
Yes, Nicky numbers making a
return.
Kind of shows you kind of on ice effectiveness. So like hockey is one of those sports where like we haven't played it before, right?
Right.
So it could be a little difficult to understand some of the things.
Like the new hockey analytics are really good.
The hockey analytics
Really
are
good.
very fascinating. And here's something right here. Of the top 33 lines in the playoffs, and this is including every team, the Lightning have 3 lines that are in the top 33. Hagel, Paul, and Colton. And this is in order for them. Killorn, Cirelli, and Point, Palat, Stamkos, Kucherov. That's 3 of the top 33 lines in the playoffs so far by expected goals average.
By expected goals average. Now,
yes.
Explain what that is.
Expected goals average, as far as I know, is kind of like the probability of each shot, the frequency of shots, your effectiveness while on the ice.
And some of this is subjective because they'll say they'll give you like quality chances, good scoring opportunities.
Yeah, it's kind of a good way to put everything all into one, like your effectiveness on the ice, how noticeable you are, things like that. Toronto, on the other hand, and I had been telling you that I thought Toronto really has not played anywhere near their best hockey. I think they've been a little overrated in this series. They only have 1 line in that top 33.
Really?
And it's actually their Invol, Comp, and Mikhaev line.
Yeah.
Which is like their version of a third line. So their top lines aren't even in there.
That's interesting.
You go to defensive lines. All of the Lightning's defensive pairings, including Hedman-Chernak, which is in the top 7 as a pairing so far, all of their pairings are in the top 33. Toronto just has 1, Muzzin and Brody, inside the top 33. And the others are on the outside looking in. So I find that very interesting because my eyes were telling me that Toronto was not playing their best hockey, honestly. And I thought it was more about what the Lightning were kind of giving them.
Yeah.
And the numbers seem to indicate that the Matthews, the Marners of the world haven't been as effective as you would think.
Well, and when you go back and you look at the first game, and that's what Cooper said. Remember, we've talked about that as like, was Cooper giving them enough credit? And he wasn't really that impressed. He was more disgusted with the way his team played. And you look, they dominated game 1 and they dominated I won't say dominated, but they certainly won the first period in game 3.
Yes.
You go up 3-0. But if you remember I think the Lightning were on the penalty kill for, I think, 8 minutes of that time in the first 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they'd even up a little bit later on. And I thought the Lightning had the better run of play in the second period and the third period. Clearly, they dominated game 4. So when you look at it, it's been Toronto game 1, and they got up, what was it, 5-0? That was the final score, right? In the first game,
Mm-hmm.
game 1. They got up, and the Lightning, they came out slow and then really never found their jam.
Yeah.
And then game 3, I think, game 2, obviously the Lightning dominated, and that's where a lot of those numbers come from. Game 3, you saw, I think Toronto came out quickly.
Yeah.
But the Lightning, I think, really, once they woke up, but they dominated the last 30 minutes of that hockey game. And then, game 4, they dominated again. So, yeah, I think if you look at this series, you even said it yesterday that you said the Lightning had won 6.5. And I said, I think it's closer to 7.5.
Yes.
As far as periods go. So, yeah, I think the Lightning have been the better team. I think Toronto's good. But I think one of the things that the Lightning have done, it's why they don't lose 2 games in a row. They make adjustments, and their staff, John Cooper, and then the players themselves, it's one thing for the coaches to come up with adjustments, but it's another thing to have the talent and the wherewithal and the hockey IQ to implement those adjustments. Okay, we got to do this on Marner and Matthews. We got to do this. We're gonna get this pairing, and then when they have last change at home, they'll be able to do it a little bit better. Not as well tonight. So I think all of that comes into it. And it's why the Lightning have been so successful, and they haven't lost 2 games in a row. Now, in this series, clearly, if you don't lose 2 games in a row, you can still lose the series.
Yeah.
Because you didn't win the first one.
Fair.
So you haven't lost 2 in a row, but you got to win 2 in a row at some point.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tonight, and it's going to be on Thursday.
I hope so. And I think especially in game 3, like when we were talking to Chris, he said he didn't feel like the Lightning were actually in that game, even when they were peppering Campbell with shots. I think the problem in that game 3, to be honest, and we've learned the weakness for Campbell is up high.
He's up high,
because he's a shorter goalie.
So Bradley said in game 1.
Yeah, because he's a shorter goalie, and I think a lot of those shots they were getting on net there in that second half of that game, they were all lower. They were just hitting him right in the chest protector.
Right.
That's all it was. And then the only times they beat him was when Colton perfectly placed it over top. And
hit the crossbar,
and whoever hit the
Palat.
Was it Palat?
Palat
Yes.
up in the corner, upper right, top
the
shelf.
second one, and then we already saw in the last game where Colton shot one. The vodka.
Yeah,
well, that's different.
Well,
for you, it's on
that's
brand.
my childhood.
For you, it's on brand. But
Mama didn't bring home cookies.
You didn't have any cookies.
She brought home Skull.
What?
Skull vodka.
What do you say? Skull. I would like dip for a second. I was like
SKOL. Not the best vodka.
It doesn't sound like the best vodka at all.
No,
but no. Anyway, but in game 4 too, I bet in game 4 too, when Colton came into the middle there, where did he shoot it up? High, and guess where it went right over? Right off his glove and in. Clearly, Jack Campbell has a weakness there, and as long as the Lightning are able to get those shots up, I think they should be fine. I don't want to sound overconfident,
right?
But I think the numbers back up what I've seen with my eyes. That the Lightning, I think, on the contrary, have been the better team.
I think that Toronto, the only way they win this series is if their goalie steals at least one game. And do you really have any confidence that Jack Campbell is going to steal a game from the Lightning? No. If anybody's stealing a game, it's going to be Vasi tonight. If the crowd gets into it and Toronto gets some puck luck and they play with a lot of, they're going to play with a lot of energy, no doubt about it. Then yeah, you can see, Vasi might have to steal the game, but I think the Lightning control the game tonight, and I think they win. I don't think Bradley's going back to Toronto. I don't think he better get a good fill of the cracked crab and the lobster bisque and whatever the hell he's going to be having in the luxury box tonight.
There's definitely a conversation being in that locker room right now. They got to be saying, well, listen, we don't want to go back to Toronto.
No, we're not coming back
We're
here.
not coming back to Toronto.
No,
We're not going across to another country.
Pack it up.
We're getting out of here.
Pack it up.
We're not playing one more game in this crazy Scotiabank environment, which is just absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
No, we got to get back to Emily.
I agree wholeheartedly. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, there was a little sign. If you watched the game last night, do you watch the Braves game? A little sign behind home plate that caught a lot of people's eye, and for good reason. And we're going to talk about it next Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. In our second hour, the law offices of Christopher Palermo, the Gold and Diamond Source, our great friends over there, and American Mortgage Services and Italiano Insurance. Thank you all for being great sponsors of the show. We love you folks. So let us do what we do. We thank you, all you folks, you listeners, you watchers. Our numbers continue to grow, so we really appreciate you supporting our endeavor here, where we try to bring you the most honest and non-corporate, whitewashed opinions of our local teams. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. So thank you very much. And our good friend Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services, rates are going up, folks, and they're going to continue to go up. So if you're going to refi, still 5% ain't bad. It ain't as good as 3%, but wherever you're going to get the lowest rate, it's going to be with American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald will shop your loan around to dozens and dozens of companies, not just with the bank that you currently are dealing with. That's not going to be a good deal. The big banks charge all kinds of different fees. They'll tell you they don't, but they do. That's how they build those big banks. But they don't do that at American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald will get you the lowest rate. He'll also have a wonderful experience with him. Nick, you just went through the experience with Scott, right? Got all your information in, got everything done. You're set to go, buy your first new house, right?
Yeah, very, very simple process. Just email him at scott@amstampa.com, and he'll give you the full layout of the steps to make to put one big document together. And then you get your own login for his website there at AMS. I forgot the name of the website, but just type in American Mortgage Tampa and find Scott Fitzgerald. You get your own login, and it'll be very easy for you to put your documents all in there for him to review.
Upload the docs.
Get your credit scores back and get pre-approved.
Yep.
It's that easy. It took a day.
Yeah, and he'll a day. That's all it took.
That's all it took.
There you go. So, don't go through the months and months and months of trying to get a refi, folks. Go to American Mortgage Services, Scott at AMStampa.com. Tampa.com. That's how it works. All right. So there was a sign up last night behind home plate. I don't know if you saw it. Our good friends at Raise Up, hashtag Raise Up, just put it up. And it was this great deal for the first place Anaheim Angels. Beautiful stadium, by the way. I love that stadium. It's old, but it is like a perfect outdoor baseball stadium in my mind. And it's the Coca-Cola Angels Family Fun Pack. Have you heard about this?
I saw a lot of people tagging us into it.
Bring your friends and family out for a day of baseball, food, and fun for only $44. You can get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks. Order your Coca-Cola Angels Family Fun Pack today. The Coca-Cola Angels Family Fun Pack food credit can be redeemed at Classic Hits locations at sections 107, 126. So, they have tickets in you get them in 106, 107? I don't know about that. But you're in the door. You're downstairs, $44 for 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks. And if somebody tagged us in, it'll cost you probably $40. Actually, for one person, for 1 ticket, hot dog, a drink, you're not going to get – one person can't do that for $44 in Tropicana Field. So what's up with that? You're talking about the highest cost of living in America in Southern California. The Angels they're a first place team. A great stadium, huge population, a very accessible stadium, by the way, right off the interstate. I mean, but the Rays can't do this.
That was the first thing I was thinking. I was
explain.
When I heard you read that off, I was like, and that's in Anaheim of all places. Like, they're able to put deals like that, but we can't get any deals? Really?
It's awful. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I did see something like the Rays are pimping a kids club where you get some discounts and blah, 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 but you got to pay $30 for the kids club. I mean, as Rays Up says, you got 4 tickets to watch a first place team play with the reigning AL East champs with arguably the 2 best players to ever play baseball for $44 and got some food and drinks. You could probably get 1 party deck ticket, 1 hot dog, and maybe 1 soda for $44 at Tropicana Field. I mean, can we get an answer for this? Why are the Rays bitch and moan constantly about attendance, but yet they don't do anything like this? They used to do it. They used to have the 7-Eleven. Steve Carney posted this the other day when people were looking at trends, attendance trends for the Rays. Friday nights used to be the 7-Eleven combo, right? Why didn't they continue that? They'll say, well, the corporation didn't want to do it. It was a wildly successful event. To me, they want less people in there and higher dollar. And so they can make similar revenues, but they don't have to staff it as much. They don't have to, they don't have to staff the upper deck. They don't have to staff as many people, all that. They can save money in that way. And he can still bitch and moan about having low attendance. If you want to get people in there, you can do it. He just doesn't really want to do it. That's the bottom line. And then when the players bitch about, and they rightfully so, not having crowds to play in front of, well, this is part of it. You go talk to your owner. You want fans in there? Tell them to lower the freaking prices, do some family fun pack stuff, and market it. By the way, look, I love the billboard that's in Tampa with the chain. Have you seen this? The number with the 5 falling off the billboard, the diamond necklace for Wander Franco. That's all nice and creative, but that doesn't sell tickets. It doesn't sell tickets. Give me a board up there that says, "Hey, family fun pack." For $44. That'll sell tickets. That'll get people in the building. That will get young fans to your building and see the Rays and become fans for life. Like the Lightning did for many years. They go out and they market themselves in the grassroots they're in schools all the time. They're building. They built 10 rinks, ball rinks around Tampa. They just christened the last one in Lakeland. This is not rocket science, folks. It's not rocket science. So, again, if other teams can do it, why can't the Rays?
I know. I was trying to pull up. We do have slight attendance numbers so far throughout this season.
Right.
I was bringing them up here. I don't know how much you can read into last year's because it was restricted a little bit at first. But last year they were around 9,000, and that was 29th in the league. This year, they're slightly up to 27th in the league, the Rays are. So they're moving up steadily a little bit.
Right.
But it's actually a little bit less. It's about 1,000 less than what it was in 2018, 2019. We were normal. So not much movement, I guess, with the attendance, even though I have enjoyed the weekends, at least having a nice crowd so far.
Yeah, the weekend crowds are always nice, because people don't have to worry about driving over there and driving back in traffic times and, getting back at 12:30 at night and on a school night. That's always been an issue. Yeah. All right, some of the other stories that we haven't got to. I read a cool story. There's a great white shark off the New Jersey beaches.
Oh, thank God.
Well, let me finish the story. They tagged this shark, this great white, back in 2019, so they track its movements. Right.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Ironbound. Ironbound, because it's named after an island in Nova Scotia where they first tagged him. He's 12 and a half feet long and over 1,000 pounds of great white shark. And they've tracked him for 3 years now. And he's made several trips back and forth from Nova Scotia to the Florida Keys. And they've had some great white spottings, by the way, in the Gulf of Mexico, too. So the shark goes up and down the East Coast, wanders into the Gulf of Mexico sometimes, and it goes up there for summer. It's like a Tampa resident. They go up to Canada for summers. They come down and they mate off of North Carolina. That's where their mating ground is. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. The Outer Banks, very romantic place. And then then it goes down to the Keys and they track this sucker. Another one they're tracking is 17 and a half feet and over 4,000 pounds. Imagine going to the beach like, hey, Joey, look at that fin. And that thing comes up.
This is why I don't go to the beach. There's a lot of reasons why I don't go to the beach. I can't wait for this. When I am there, you don't see me going in the ocean. Those people that are like, oh, let's go out to the sand dollar. Let's drift a little bit. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And I'm not going to the Atlantic Ocean either.
Ironbound's out there waiting for you.
Yeah, because you just told me that story. That'd be on my mind going in.
And you know how many great white attacks we've had off of our beaches?
How many?
Zero.
Yes.
Well, never happened in the Gulf.
We're due. We're due. And trust me, I know how these things work. It's always me. Due. It's always me.
Okay.
I am Mr. Freak. When I do have to go into the water, I look around. I look around and I'm like, do I got any cuts on me? Am I wearing any Band-Aids? Is there anything that could draw attention to me? I look around my surroundings. I always look. If I'm going into the ocean, you will not catch me by myself, and you won't catch me next to just one person. Nope.
You really don't go into the ocean because you're fearing a shark attack.
Yes.
You know how rare, like you're better off chance of getting hit by lightning than getting a shark attack.
This comes back to the whole plane argument. Remember?
Yes.
When I had to go in the plane, y'all are trying to tell me, oh, it's safer to go in a plane than drive in a car.
Absolutely.
Listen,
100%.
I'm out of control though.
100%.
I have no control.
Your fears are not reasonable. Use some data. You'll live longer and more happy. Here's some data for you from the world of the absurd. The NCAA Division I Board of Directors published new guidelines Monday to clarify that boosters, including recently created companies designed to provide athletes at a particular school with endorsement deals, NIL, should not have any contact with prospective college athletes, their family members, or their representatives. The guidelines are crafted by a working group of athletic directors. Oh, they were working? And conference commissioners. Really? They're working on something that's completely meaningless. Talked earlier this year with reviewing an evolving marketplace for college athletes. The NCAA updated its rules last summer to allow college athletes to make money by selling the rights of their name, image, and likeness. Yeah, they updated it because the courts finally said that they could do it, and the NCAA could not stop them, and they were going to get sued. The group's first public response comes now in growing concern that some boosters and NIL-focused companies known as collectives are offering money as incentives to attend a particular school. No duh. Of course, this is what the NIL is, you idiots. Quote, while the NCAA may pursue the most outrageous violations that were clearly contrary to the interim policy adopted last summer, our focus is on the future, said board chair and University of Georgia president Jerry Moorhead. The University of Georgia, who just offered Travis Hunter $3 million to in an NIL deal. My God. Moorhead continued, the new guidelines establish a common set of expectations for the Division I institutions moving forward, and the board expects all Division I institutions to follow our recruiting rules and operate within these reasonable expectations. Do you know how stupid this is? It's not enforceable.
Somebody
and
needs...
Georgia, you're the biggest NIL collective in America. I mean, come on. And they're all run by boosters. You can't stop this, NCAA. That's like that's like a 5-year-old walking out in the middle of Odessa while the Russians and the Ukrainians are going at it, going, stop. I got my water pistol here. You guys better stop. What? I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Like a bunch of athletic directors and presidents got together and this is what you came up with? Am I the only one that just thinks this is this ridiculously stupid?
Am I the only one that doesn't get it? Like someone needs
it's stupid.
Like it's so hard. Like I saw the memo like that they released yesterday, and I tried to read through it. And I mean, somebody needs to explain it to me like I'm 5 at this point. I have no idea what any of these guidelines even establish.
Right, let me just explain this to you. So for clarity's sake. So in a nutshell, for 30 years, we've been talking about doing something for the kids and getting them paid, do something. They rejected all the ideas. All these greedy presidents and athletic directors, they want a status quo. Well, they're going to make all the money and the kids make nothing. So finally, the courts, states finally said enough of this. We're going to allow name, image, and likeness. The courts back them up on it. And the NCAA was basically shown to have zero power. You can't do anything about it. You can't keep a kid from making a living. It's not right. You can't do it. A kid can sue the NCAA and will win gazillions of dollars. So then they came up with the NIL. There's nothing that they could do about it because the courts and the state legislatures have already said that this is legal and you can do it. So some states have laws, some states don't. So now the NCAA, who basically is toothless at this point to enforce any of this, now is coming back and saying, okay, now it's out of control. So we're going to put some guidelines on here that boosters can't be involved in this. So it's because they've come up with collectives and companies that are made up of who? Boosters to pay the kids, quote, endorsement contracts. They're just going to rename it or do something else, or the booster can't have his name on it. I mean, some of these collectives have been established by the universities themselves. So the universities are establishing these collectives made up of booster money. And now the university president of Georgia is going to say, we can't do this. What? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Do you want to know a simple solution to this?
This is dumb.
You want to know a simple solution?
Yeah.
Just create a salary.
Create a salary for the players. Yeah.
Is there need to be any more discussion on this?
They could have done that.
Does there need to be any more discussion on this? But you know what? You can't even do that anymore.
And you know why they're doing this?
What?
Because the boosters are giving the money directly to the players and not to the school anymore.
Yeah. And that's all that recruitment is.
They're not getting their money anymore.
Exactly.
So now we're going to come up with a rule that they can't do it.
Yeah.
The boosters that we told you to give us the money, not them, and then you went and gave them the money.
And here's the thing.
So now the boosters and the schools are kind of at odds, but actually working with each other.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
The solution is to just have a salary for the players, but I fear we've gone so far overboard with this.
Exactly.
You can't go just salary because who determines what the salary is?
Exactly.
Is it performance-based like the rest of the leagues in the world? What's the rate? I mean, do we have enough money to pay 90 freaking players on every single Division I team? I don't know about that.
Yes, we do.
We probably do, but what's the rate? Some of these guys are getting 7 figures. Is everybody getting 7 figers?
Other things have to be, they're never going to come up with a, quote, fair solution. What you needed, though, was a reasonable solution that got the players paid and didn't, send them off into these, pursuits of millions of dollars. You could have controlled it from the very beginning, avoided getting sued by giving them something, and you could have controlled it, but you didn't do that because you were greedy and you didn't think the players would ever get the power to do it. Well, you were wrong, and now you're trying to put out these stupid, initiatives that make no sense. All right, our thanks to our guest today who joined us, Jason Blewitt from West Point Thoroughbreds. Great story on the Kentucky Derby. Chris Torello and Brian Bradley live from Scotiabank Arena. We got Game 5 tonight. Don't forget Armature Works, folks. Armature Works, big outdoor, beautiful night. Come watch the Lightning watch party there. All the Thunderbug, everybody's going to be there. And I'll be there. Shea will be there. Nick's coming. Everybody's going to be there. The White Shark will be there. Be there as we watch the Lightning win tonight. See you tomorrow.